This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
We're back. As you can see, folks, I've done so many good things with my hair today that it's all decided to stand up on end and go whichever way it wants to. So, hey, it is how it is. I do have a set of clippers, and I will make an attempt on it myself tomorrow because I can't do a thing with my hair. It's just no fun at all. Hey, how's your day been? Been a not a bad day in Queensland. And thank you to everybody who's made contact to me with me through either email or SMS or giving me a call today. Really appreciate the sentiments that everybody's sending through. And thank you so much to the people who've been sending through a few hints, tips and ideas. So far, on the Voice of Freedom website, vofhq.com, we have probably had the biggest reaction to anything so far. That would be the People's Council concept. Now, the People's Council concept has been really brought to the fore in Victoria and particularly in Frankston. The Frankston People's Council has been brought together. They've elected a mayor, as we've heard before, and we've had him on the show before. I thought, well, if we're going to talk People's Councils, let's get the mayor of the Frankston People's Council involved. Good evening, Mr. Mayor Darren Bergwerf. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Carl. How are you?
Very decent indeed. Thank you, mate. I know that you're enjoying the surf and turf relief that you can find at that little pub that you're at the moment. We might see if we can get a tour before the show's over. But thanks for taking the time to step out into a little quieter area for us, mate.
That's all right. I've actually they got Matt Lawson out here talking tonight, and I'll probably have 5 or 10 minutes after he's finished a bit later on.
Beautiful. So you're in Wood End tonight talking about People's Council business?
Certainly am, yes. People's Council, People's Trust, and of course, my place.
Yeah. So these are all three things that the Voice of Freedom really want to get behind and help you promote. We've had a huge reaction to people wanting to set up People's Councils in their areas, and you're working with us to sort of help that happen. And Spiros, of course, is in the background of all that as well. If people are interested, you can find the details on our website, vofhq.com. You can also find them on the people or on the Frankston People's Council.org site. If you go and click the More tab, you'll find a Laws tab underneath that. Click on that. And, the minutes is really what we're after there, aren't we, Darren? The first 3 minutes or sets of minutes from the first 3 council meetings will explain to people how you set up the Frankston People's Council. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's very easy. There's no paperwork to do really, except keeping the minutes, moving some motions to start a People's Council, and then electing your office bearers through nominations. We had 3 nominations for mayor. Then we had a vote on that, and I was elected. And then we elected a deputy mayor and litigated Department of Treasury and an admin. So we only had basically 4 or 5 people that we needed. We had 60 odd at our meeting, and we were away. The motion was moved to adopt the 1901 Constitution without any changes as our Constitution in the short term, and the red ensign flag, the land flag, as the flag that we stand under as sovereign people, living men and women, and that's what it means to be part of a People's Council.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, people are concerned that they've got to have some common law knowledge. That's not the case at all. You don't need to have any common law knowledge. What you need to have to be part of a People's Council, I assume, Darren, is a desire for your community to have good done in it and for you to do that good, or for you to be one of the people in there doing that good, helping each other, helping your community to grow and expand. And from there, we hope other communities.
Correct, and it's all about taking people on a journey and educating them on what realm we should be standing and where our freedoms lie, and the matrix that we've kind of been led to live our lives in since we've been born, that we were unaware of all of this stuff only 12 months ago. So It's and then once you learn this stuff, it's you got to do something with it, and that's the difference I think that we're making in Frankston, is that we're actually actioning a plan on everything that we're learning and executing it straight away, and then moving forward with it. And we've got a fantastic community now, and it's all been on the back of the My Place model that we started and built that community to support each other. Now all of those platforms come under the People's Council, and they're all services that a People's Council supply to their community.
So let's just talk about My Place, because people who may have visited our website will have seen that I've got a My Place at Your Place tab up there with some details to be announced soon. So I believe your My Place concept is absolutely brilliant. And if we could get one of these venues in every town and city in the country, or every suburb in the country would be in a much better position. Can you just explain to people who are maybe seeing you for the first time tonight, or who aren't familiar with the concept, what My Place is all about?
My Place, it started off as a rebellious kind of act when we opened up in October last year. So we're basically right on 12 months to supply a venue that I owned that was empty for people that could come out and bring their own alcohol and food, because I don't sell any of that. And just mix with like-minded people without needing to have a vax passport or wear masks or QR code or any of the bullshit that everyone was kind of doing. So that's where it started. It's kind of evolved and grown into something quite special. And the amount of helpers and volunteers we have is it's just amazing. It's like one big family, and everyone's in it to support and help each other. And we're growing exponentially, and everyone's looking to copy what we're doing. We've got everything that we need as a community involved, and we've got probably 80 plus now volunteers on different committees, action groups. We had 60 at the council meeting. There's only 50 chairs Monday night just gone, and we packed that out. Had high vis on. I was sitting there in my high vis. The Frankston Corporate Council's mayor actually addressed me as mayor in the middle of their meeting when I put my hand up to say something. And I had a good conversation with him and one of the other councillors for 20 minutes after the meeting finished, and explaining everything to them about how unlawful they are. And we've had 2 referendums to knock back having a 3rd level of governance. And they are sitting there unlawful. And I went through the whole spiel of the fake pandemic, the injections that are killing people, and the whole systems around the world that are being demolished and taken apart. And I told them it's you've still got time to get on the right side of this and start doing things for the people. And so yeah, I'm going to invite them down to our fortnightly meeting next Wednesday. And the mayor and the other 8 councillors, and yeah, we'll see how many of them turn up.
It must have been an interesting experience to have the corporate council mayor address you as mayor in his own chambers.
Oh, it was gold, because it kind of come about. It was in the middle of their meeting, which is live streamed on their website, and I think he was trying to get one of the councillors to move a motion. And no one wanted to put their hand up. So I was sitting in the front row. So I raised my hand to move the motion for them. And he just came out with the mayor can't move a motion, Darren. So he basically recognised that, and they know, they've been following everything I'm doing on Facebook. They know that we've had our meeting and set up our own People's Council, and they know that I've been elected as mayor. So now the negotiations and the talks start between the people and the ones that are kind of running as a council at the moment, and we need to inform them and educate them and try and steer them in the right path. And if we can't do that, then we'll see what happens down the track.
Well, surely they have to be worried. The people, and I can tell you, Darren, we've had a big response. I mean, I think you've spoken to Cherie in the office, and she's let you know that there are many towns and cities right across Australia who want to start a People's Council. And so much, I would say, the interest in People's Council is greater than the interest in the trust. I see this as a really encouraging sign. I remember when I spoke to Spiros a couple of weeks ago, I said, I want to talk to you about the trust. And he said, look, that's a secondary thing. I really want to push the council. I think the People's Council is the way we're going to do this. And he couldn't have been more on the money, could he?
No, correct. Well, it's all of the above. I mean, we've got to keep pushing against them in their statute system and exposing them for who they are, and we've got to set up new parallel systems similar to AMPS, Australian Medical Professional Society, and our own councils. I'd love to see a constitutional law association and start our own bar association where all those lawyers and solicitors that have been had licenses to practice law taken away, we'll issue them a new one, and we'll start our own law, and we'll set up our own courts. So this is where it's all got to head on every aspect of our society, and we just set up a parallel system. And people will come in droves once it's legitimate and it's set up properly, and their system will collapse.
Yeah, their system has no legitimacy, and as soon as the vast majority of people take the time to understand that, and folks, I can see that we've had a bit of an issue with trolls tonight. If somebody just wants to post up in the trolls, just post up in the chat who the troll is. I've already dumped one, so I don't know if I've dumped the right one or not. Let me know. I'm not really interested in trolls. Trolls are, for me, people who you must run into all the time when you run into opposition with the People's Council. It'll be, what are you going to be able to do with that? What do you think you're going to? It's just a place where you can all go and have a beer and pretend you're doing something. You get those kind of reactions?
Not really. I haven't had much of those reactions. I was down at the boat ramp handing out my mayor cards when Ollie's got shut down. The coffee van that the council won't renew their license to operate, and there's only one group that I come across that were happy with the dictatorship and with Dan Andrews. Everyone else were very receptive to taking my card and listening. So there's so many different reasons that the government and the bureaucracies are starting to reach into all corners of society and affect more and more people, that having us set up and us getting out there and being noticed, it's giving people a place that they can come and join. So they're just pushing more and more people towards us. So knock themselves out. Go for it. I love it.
So they must know you're coming for them. It must be very difficult for a council in the corporate world when you've got one of these community people's councils in place. Because they've been so used to doing things the bureaucratic way, the way that the system has told them to do things, that when next council elections come around, if they haven't performed to the level that the people expect them to, then you would think that the People's Council are going to walk straight in those elections if they stand. And you have a background of showing what you're going to do.
Well, I won't be waiting till the next council election before we move on that. We'll have paperwork in place within the next 6 months that we'll be in a position where we can call them out for their no authority, and we'll be moving on that, I would suspect, in the next 6 months.
That's very exciting news. Very exciting news indeed. Now, Voice of Freedom's coming on the road. I get to come for a drive. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to South Morang, I think, on the 15th. I may have said the 14th last night, but it's the 15th of October. I'm not sure if you can make that show or not, but you are going to come to the Shepparton one on the 16th as well.
Yeah, correct. Look, I might get out to South Morang and Shepparton on the 16th, and then obviously you'll be down at my place in Frankston on the 19th. So, I'm looking forward to the next 4 to 6 weeks is going to be enthralling, and I'm pumped and ready for action.
We've got a lot of people from various different parts of Victoria. Some you've been in contact with, some have contacted us. So there is a chance, folks, if you are interested, and Darren, you're obviously going around talking to people about the People's Council and the trusts in Victoria. We'd love you to come on the road with us for a few days. I think after your show, I'm heading off to Tasmania to do about a week down there, and then I'm coming back to Victoria. So if there are people who or areas that want to have a show, then maybe that sort of end of the first week of November might be a time where we can jump in the cars and go for a bit of a cruise and promote the arse out of this, mate. Let's get this sorted. There are a few things that people's councils need to have in place: website, phone number. Do you have to have a premises?
That's a question. Well, I guess I've got all of the above. So yes, it's handy to run the My Place model and have all of these add-ons with the People's Council and being able to process things for the trust. It's imperative if you want to do it right that you have a building. It doesn't take much. We've got quite a few groups now. The My Place Yarra Valley they're well over 500 members now. So they're to get their own venue, and if you've got 500 members at $1 a week each, it's $3,000 a month. You can go and rent a 3,000 square foot factory and put the power on for under that. And then once you've got a venue, you can hold meetings any day. You can hold community services. You can do all of that and raise money to keep the place going. So that's when you can really kind of get traction and start to grow all these other platforms.
Brilliant stuff. I look forward to exploring it more with you in person as we traipse around Victoria, my old stomping ground. I grew up in Western Victoria, and I worked in Shepparton at the radio station there many moons ago. So it'd be good to get back into Shepparton.
Well,
let's go on.
You might need a boat, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the other thing. I hadn't thought of asking you about that, but yeah, quite right. The big melt will have started by now. So the Murray's going to be at full tilt. Lake Eildon, last I checked, was at 95 or 99%, and the Goulburn River must be pushing its banks by now.
It's my belief that a few lads from my place were up at Deniliquin for the Ute Muster last weekend. They're saying the Murray, like right up there. Lake Hume, like you said, it's 102%. The Eildon, which normally this is an orchestrated, in my belief, it's an orchestrated event because normally Eildon would be dropped to between 65 and 70% at the start of spring, getting ready for the snow melt. They're creating that weather system that's going to absolutely pound central New South Wales and northern Victoria up the mountains. We've had the biggest snow dump for decades. And once those rains come and that snow melts, they won't be able to let the water out quick enough. And the Goulburn Valley will be underwater. Our food bowl, Shepparton, will be underwater. I can see Echuca and a lot of the Murray towns going to be underwater by sometime in November.
Yeah, well, it's I'm with you. I think it's a planned event. They've done this deliberately, or it's gross negligence, and the people of Victoria should be starting a case now and filing it with a view to a watching brief, I think they call it, because the damages that are going to come from this, and like you say, I agree with you. I think this is probably an engineered event. How they could leave, particularly Lake Eildon, where it is at its capacity, is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's more than gross negligence, in my opinion, and I think we should be emailing Murray Goulburn Water daily from everybody stating that these decisions, people are going to be coming in their private capacity, and these people should lose everything for doing what they're doing. And there's no way that year after year that they do the same thing and they drop Lake Eildon, and they haven't this year. There's something into that, and I think if we pre-warn them and put them on notice, that's what we should all be doing. Yep,
absolutely. I'm amazed. I would have thought that part of the water management plan, although under Chairman Dan, that's probably been changed without anybody's knowledge. But previously, I would have thought that water management plan for Lake Eildon would have been very specific about letting out an amount of water getting to a certain level, especially because of the snow melt, which comes every year, sometimes less, sometimes more. But like you say, depending on the season. But this season has been a bumper season. It's been the best snow dump in years. So there is a lot of frozen water up there on those mountains. And like you say, that weather system's going to come into play. And when the water meets the snow, it's all going to melt and come rushing down the hills. So it might be an interesting trip down there. I better bring the floaties.
Yeah, I think it might be. Yep.
All right, let's talk about the trust, because I know that a lot of people have interest in setting up the trust still. And I received an email today from Spiros telling me that Western Australia, Northern Territory and Tasmania are still to be stood up under trusts. So you can email us here at Voice of Freedom or email Cherie, SHEREE at VOFHQ.com if you're interested in stepping up to help with the trust in Western Australia, the Northern Territory and Tasmania. And now we are going down to Tasmania. The trust, I think there's a couple of blokes down there that might be interested in being involved with that. I'm not quite sure. But if you are interested, get a hold of Cherie, get your name in the mix. We will forward you all your contact details and whatnot to Spiros, and he will be in touch. And obviously, you've been through this process, Darren. Spiros is the litigation arm that every trust in each state requires, and he helps you set up the administration, the treasury, and whatever else is required.
Yeah, correct. We had probably with Spiros 3 or 4 meetings for 3 or 4 hours each time to finalise and adjust and get all this process in order. It took us quite a bit of time to get the website up and running and get ready. So I actually spoke to Tim Dwyer today from South Australia. They've got their one set up. He's actually doing a show on the 30th of October that Spiros and I are both going to be part of from Gawler in South Australia. So once... they're still in the process of teething out, getting all the teething problems sorted out. And as soon as the contact details are available for those, we'll put them up on People's Trust Victoria as well. And so every trust will have every state's information on it that they can access as well.
Because if you are a Queenslander driving through Victoria and you get a fine, you don't throw it into the Queensland Trust. It'll have to go into the Victorian Trust. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So there's a few little things to work out with all of that. But if you're interested, then get a hold of Cherie at vofhq.com. And particularly if you're in Western Australia, Northern Territory and Tasmania. Other states, no need to apply, already set up, already almost running in most cases. Of course, Victoria is leading the field when it comes to trust use at this point in time. Now, Darren, the people, are you part of the admin of this? What's the storage like? Have you had to upgrade the storage facility or capacity yet?
No, we're just looking for more volunteers. And because the banks are starting to dry up, I mean, they're heading that way anyway with not having checkbooks and that kind of thing anymore. They're finding it, unless you really stand your ground, they're finding it hard to get those counter checks now. And so we are working.
$43, I think somebody told me it was, to go and get a checkbook from their bank. They had to pay $43 to get a personal checkbook from their bank.
Well, I just ordered 2 new ones for 2 of my businesses, and it didn't cost me a cent. So, at the end of the day, you can write an IOU or a promissory note on a piece of toilet paper, and it's actual legitimate currency. So we are developing a promissory note that you'll be able to download on the website as well. But by making it that easy, we've got to be ready and on top of it and have we're getting a 3rd computer set up. We've got to be ready because the flood will really come as far as the trust goes once we make it that easy for people.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So you've already been challenged with the trust in Victoria?
Yes, we've had. We're getting letters back from Fines Victoria. We're getting letters back from councils, different ones, different approaches. So this is all uncharted waters, and we're kind of making it up as we go along. So we've got some people writing back themselves to the council. So we're trying different avenues of replying. We're also in the process at the moment of drawing up another document to send that will be even a stronger document than the first one to the councils and Fines Victoria. The process it's ever evolving, and we're building it on the run. The same as everything we're doing, it's all done. Depends on what move they make or what they come back with as to how we respond. So it's very fluid.
The pushback that you're getting, strongly worded, or is it strong arming? Have they leapt certain processes that maybe they shouldn't have, or have they just neglected to employ them?
No, they're just they're not strong arming at all. It's just a letter asking, because they're getting these letters all the time. They're just ringing. Actually, some of the councils are ringing the residents and asking if this trust is legitimate. Have you given authority to the trust to act on your behalf? So people are saying that yes, they have. And then they're ringing the council when they get a reminder notice saying, "What are you doing? I've given it to the trust." And the people on the other end of the phone are saying, "Oh, another one of those," and they're starting to actually get quite angry with the customers.
Yeah, probably because they're not getting any money out of them.
Well, they're just not used to so much belligerent pushback and questioning of everything that they do, and that's only going to grow exponentially over the next 3 months. Everyone's going to start pushing back and questioning the legitimacy of all of those authoritarian bodies. And under our constitution, we have every right to do that. And I believe that we are 100% in the right.
Yep, absolutely. In your people's, in your My Place gatherings, can you just outline, like, you've got a band or an entertainment area with instruments and all that kind of thing. There's TVs set up so people can go and watch the footy. Have you got barbecues? Places where people can cook and have a beer while they're watching the footy, all that kind of thing. I mean, what do you do with small kids? Have you got a creche type area? These are the questions I've been sort of fired at me.
We have kids running around. Families come down. We've got barbecues, TVs. We've got urns and coffee, free coffee and tea, and just a donation jar. We've got fridges and eskies, and we've got a stage. We had a DJ last Friday night, which was my birthday party. We had probably 150 people at that. And this Friday night, it's a open mic night. So we just get a lot of local musicians. Some of those ones that were up at Deniliquin last weekend will be on the stage performing. And we have a fire drum some nights. It's just a family barbecue get together.
Yeah. So for people to join, it's not just a matter of turning up at your place and saying, "I'm here." You have to join My Place, be part of the community. No,
not at all. It's open to anyone and everyone.
Beautiful. But
we have people, young blokes that hear the music coming out the back laneway, and they come down from the pool hall up the road, and we had half a dozen of them one night, and they were inside on the bongo drums and joined in festivities and chatting to us, and they were. One of them was jabbed, the other one wasn't, and we just sit down and we explain to them what's going on in the world, and they're just part of the community like us, and the more people that find us, the better.
So in my travels around Queensland and New South Wales recently, I don't see a lot of P plates in the car parks of my shows. What must be very beneficial to you is in that family environment, you're getting the message through to the young ones as well.
Yeah, we have it. We've just started a youth group there as well. So there's a lot of, even my kids, when I say kids, 23, 21, 20 and 16, they've all been affected because most of their friends are done. And they were getting pressure back last year. My oldest boy, he's getting pictures of a pot and a Palmer from the Central Hotel. Just go and get bloody vaccinated. You can't come out unless you get vaccinated. Just go and get it done. So they got a bit of flack and they stood their ground. And I'm so proud of them that they listened to their old man and took my advice and stuck fat and did what they did. And now they can see the benefits of it. And there are a lot of young people that are disassociated with their friendship groups. Same with the adults.
Yeah. Aaron's got a question here. So let me try and explain it as I understand it. And please correct me if I get it wrong, because if I get it wrong, then it's best that I correct it. So what happens if the council comes after people for unpaid fines? Now, you've said if the council comes after people, they just ring up and say the money's with the trust, and then it becomes incumbent upon the council to chase the trust for that money. Is that correct?
Well, that's how it's supposed to work. They're ignoring, I guess they're not recognising us as a legitimate body, which is fine because we don't recognise them either. But the way it's going, and I've just received my first extortion letter from the Sheriff's Department last week.
Right.
So I'm just contemplating taking action and suing them for extortion, and actually getting on the front foot. So I'm just in discussions about how we go about doing that. I think we've got to stop defending and start attacking, and get on the front foot. So yeah, we're in the process of looking at that, and there are quite a few people who've got sheriff's letters. And at that point, what we're telling people is, you need to, at this point, potentially make a payment plan. So you get the initial threat of getting your car suspended, or taken. And then at that point, once you've got the immediate threat out of the way, then we take action, because it could take 6 months to get it into court. And if they come and take your car or deregister it or whatever else, and you can't go to work, then that's an issue. So we're still working through, different avenues of action.
And this is it's a very new process. Like you said, they don't recognise you, but you don't recognise them, and they are the ones being asked to prove their bona fides when it comes to issuing and then taking money for those fines. I've been contacted by a fella in New South Wales, I think it is, who, interestingly, folks, I beg your pardon, he's in Queensland, but he was travelling through New South Wales and got a speeding fine some time ago. It was only a low-level one. He didn't pay it, forgot it, for whatever reason. He's discovered recently that the Westpac Bank have allowed the government into his savings account and have stolen from him $242, which isn't the fine amount. He's asked for a bit of advice on that, and we've suggested he go away and ask the banks what reason they were given. They've said that they were given a reason, so he has every right to know that. What law they've used to garnish the wages and what power the government has to do that. It's interesting that some of the acts that they've sent back don't quite match up with what they've actually done. So be aware at the moment, folks, the government, because they are strapped for money, the Reserve Bank of Australia can no longer print money. The government's going to come after yours. So they'll take it out of your account quite happily, and then you'll have to fight them to get it back. And that'll cost you money as well. So just a warning to the wise, if you've got outstanding debts with government, be prepared, they might come into your account. Of course, the trust isn't going to help in that case, and in this case, I'm sure it was a Queenslander or a Queensland bank account and a New South Wales fine. I'm pretty sure, may have been a Victorian fine, but something to be aware of too, I think, Darren, going forward.
Oh, definitely. They're just operating so belligerently, fraudulent, and it is an extortion racket as far as I'm concerned. And the more people that stand up and push back, and take this on and take it all the way to the court, multiple times, every time that they've got a police prosecutor there or a solicitor or a lawyer. We're just going to clog up the courts, and at the end of the day, I can see someone or something going all the way through to the High Court, because whatever action they take against me, I will be appealing and appealing and appealing until such time as I win. And if that means the High Court, then so be it.
Yep. This is a good question from Elaine. Can you say you're paying under duress? So if you enter into a payment plan, I would do that. I would sign or agree to that payment plan under duress.
Yes.
V.C before you sign. Anything will indicate that you are signing under duress, folks. V.C. These payment plans, I guess, will be set up online or on the phone. So I guess all you need to say, because those phone calls are recorded, is that, well, under duress, I will acquiesce and enter a payment plan with you.
100%. Whether you do it by email, so you've got an electronic record, or if you do it over the phone, you need to record it, and you need to keep evidence of everything that we do. So it's documented. So when the court cases come, it's not hearsay. It's all there. It's there electronically. The phone calls, you write down what time the phone call was, how long it lasted, who you spoke to, make sure you get the names of the people you're speaking to on the other end of the phone. All that stuff people need to start to document. and get all their ducks in a row. So when the time comes, we're well and truly covered.
Yep, absolutely. Well, look, I know that you do have another event, and we are 100 years and an hour behind you now in Queensland. So I better let you go and shoot off, because I don't want you to be, kept away from the surf and turf that you were enjoying so heartily earlier. And there must be a cold one sitting on the bar. Must lubricate that voice before you get on stage tonight, and educate the people in Wood End about the People's Council.
Yeah, 100%. And once again, Carl, I really appreciate it, and thank your audience for listening. And we really need to motivate people to take action and ramp it up all over the country, because only through the power of the people are we going to gain any traction and take this country back.
Yep, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Thanks very much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks down in Victoria for some live shows. We'll get People's Councils up in South Morang, Shepparton, and, well, maybe a few other places before I get to leave Victoria. That would be awesome. And Spiros might come and join us for a show, he said today. Just got to let him know when. You might warm him to come to your place, eh?
Yeah, no worries. I'll try and get down to my place. That'd be great, because I know my community or our community would love to have him come down and speak. So yeah, we might try and tee that up for next Wednesday.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful if that could be the case. And I'm really looking forward to seeing my place, and hopefully we'll come up with a plan then to take my place to your place on the road. I'd love to be able to do something every Saturday night on the road with Voice of Freedom, and if it can be in line with my place, well, that's great. And because I don't have a my place, I'm going to come to your place and have a my place. That seems pretty fair, doesn't it?
That sounds like a great idea, mate. I love it.
Yeah, excellent. Cheers, Darren. Have a good night tonight, and say good day to the folks in Wood End from everybody here.
Will do. Good on you, Carl.
Appreciate it, mate. Great stuff. Stay safe. Darren Bergwerf, the Mayor of the People's Council in Frankston, and certainly a mover and shaker behind everything to do with People's Councils. If you are keen and want to be involved with the People's Council, then please email me or email us, or just go to our website, vofhq.com. Right there on the front page, you will find everything you need to learn about setting up a People's Council. Now, the idea would be is not to get too many people in one particular area trying to set up individual councils. Try and get yourselves together, maybe put a notice on a notice board, a public notice board somewhere in your area, saying that you want to put together a People's Council, and here's your email address. Let people contact you. Once you've got that little group developed, as you heard Darren say earlier, all you need is to elect a mayor, a deputy mayor, a treasurer, and a secretary, someone to take the minutes. Of course, you'll need a litigation arm, and Spiros will be that, and he'll be there to help you set up this council step by step. So all the details for setting up a People's Council are available on the vofhq.com website, right there on the front page. And if you want to go and read the minutes for the first 3 Frankston Community or People's Council meetings, they will give you the plan and outline exactly how it was set up for them, at least. And as you heard Darren say earlier, Spiros came about 3 or 4 meetings of 3 or 4 hours duration each, got the whole thing sorted out. Now, I imagine that meeting, this being the first council, was a bit like giving birth. First one's always the hardest and the longest. So from that one and to a couple of others that have now been set up, I'm sure that they've streamlined that process a bit. Spiros has said that all these meetings can take place via Zoom or StreamYard or whatever particular thing takes your fancy. He can talk everybody through it, and a video meeting recorded and duly noted is fine enough for evidence and of proof of what you're doing. So it's not a hard process, as you heard Darren say, and we would love, if you want, we'll come to town and help you set it up. So as I said, going down to Victoria, the 15th and 16th, South Morang and Shepparton, then the 19th, we're doing my place, which I think is a Wednesday night in Melbourne at Darren's My Place in Frankston. After that, down to Tasmania, and we will be doing a show in, somewhere around Hobart. Not exactly sure where yet, yeah, somewhere around Hobart. And we're going to do Magna Carta education there for 3 days, like we did in Singleton. So if you're keen on learning more about common law and more about Magna Carta 1215, finding out why trial by jury is essential in whatever comes next, then we will have some details shortly. Or you can email Cherie, funnily enough, at vofhq.com for the details as she has them at the moment. I think we're still trying to nail down a venue. There's a couple of guys down there who are working their butts off to get all this together, and I can't thank them enough. I'm really looking forward to coming down and spending some time with them. They sound like two fabulous blokes. So yeah, very excited to come to Tasmania and check out Tasmania as well. Some of the nice things we might be able to do is, as our Magna Carta education will be happening during the day, and we probably won't stream that, we might get an opportunity to do some lives just with a laptop from some interesting places around Tasmania, you know, in the early evening, late afternoon kind of thing. And I think I'll be on the same timeline as most of the country by that stage. So I'm looking forward to bringing you the show from some interesting places around Tasmania. A week down in the Hobart area, and then we will head up to Launceston and do a show there. I haven't, that just reminds me, I haven't hooked our Launceston connection together with our Hobart connection. I'll have to do that when I finish the show. So apologies for that there. And yeah, if there is somewhere along the East Coast that is interested, I don't know, fish and chips at Penguin, anyone? Strawn, they're about the only two places I know. I'm not even sure that they're both on the, yeah, I think they're both on the East Coast. At any rate, we could stick another one in the week there if required. So happy to do as many shows as required. And if you want to talk about people's councils, if you want to talk about trusts, we can do all that. If you want to talk about some of the other stuff that's going on, and I guess by the time I get to Tasmania, there probably will be quite a lot of other stuff to talk about, then we can do that too. Price of silver has gone up today. Now, if you've checked out the vofhq.com website, you will have seen I posted a little thing up about something interesting happening in America. A whole heap of military vehicles pulling up for fuel. A local asked them what they were doing, said they were going to Washington, going to lock down Washington, going to make an arrest of I don't know. I think you know who I'm talking about. Interesting. There was another name mentioned as well, but I can't say that name because they'll ban the video for it. But I think you know who it is. So yeah, interesting things happening there in America at the moment, and the stock market. That's interesting too. A very dear friend of mine gave me, I won't say his name, gave me a text message today, sent me a smiling picture. The smiling picture was of him done up like a pox doctor's clerk and looking all the money like a very flashy used car salesman holding an 11 kilogram brick of gold. It was a beautiful photo. Can I tell you? A lovely, lovely. I'm very jealous. An 11 kilogram gold bar. That was one of the gold bars that he bought with the money that he got from his superannuation account. How did he get his money from his superannuation account? He talked to Catherine Smith. Now, you can go back through the videos here on Voice of Freedom if you would like and have a look at the video that Catherine put together and I a few months ago. Catherine has been performing a service, helping people set up self-managed super funds, getting your money out of the super accounts, the big companies that are doing God knows what with it, certainly not giving you the benefit of the money, and allowing you to transfer that over into hard metal, that being gold, silver, platinum, or any other hard metal worth money. So if that's something that you're very interested in doing, and certainly my friend today did get very interested in doing that and was very successful with Catherine's help getting that sorted, then you can either go back through the video library that we have here at Voice of Freedom or on None2K. Pretty confident None2K is probably the one that has most of the videos. The other channels occasionally get banned for various different reasons and times, so some aren't up there. But pretty confident that Catherine's is there. If not, let me know. Or just tune in tomorrow night, because Catherine Smith will be coming on again tomorrow night. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the successes that she's been having with people setting up these self-managed super funds. And clearly, if my mate is any smile to go by, people are very happy with the results. So maybe you'd like to convert a bit of that money that your super company is holding on for you because, you can't be trusted with it. Maybe you'd like to convert that into a self-managed super fund and turn it into precious metal. Catherine will be able to help you with that. And tomorrow night, 6:30 Queensland time, 7:30 for the rest of the sane world. We will be, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Shouldn't say the rest of the sane world, because I think Adelaide is now half an hour ahead of us in Queensland. I don't know where the hell Perth is, or for that matter, the Northern Territory. So at any rate, somewhere within that hour, either side, we should have a show on. And Catherine will be talking about how you can transfer the wealth that you supposedly have in your super into wealth that you really have in a vault near you. Of course, if you do have $250,000 worth of super, you can get it all out. You can buy gold and silver with it. You can't take $250,000 worth of gold and silver home. That is your self-managed super fund. So you need to manage it while it's in a vault, a protected vault somewhere. And there are ways and means for that to happen. And Catherine will bring you up to speed with that tomorrow night. Really looking forward to hearing more about what's going on in that world. She was talking to me today and informs me that a colleague who also performs this service, turning your super into metal that you can actually control and reap the benefit of, should it go through the roof. How much silver goes into an electric car, folks? How much silver goes into an electric car, making an electric car? Have a guess. Put your guess in the comments. I'm very interested. I've heard, I won't say what I've heard. Have a guess. I've heard some astounding numbers for how much silver goes into an electric car. Therefore, the price of silver is likely to go up with the demand for electric cars. For people in Australia, I don't think that's really encouraging. Who the hell's going to buy an electric car that can't tow a caravan from here to Perth? I mean, can't tow anything. Is there anything electric towing anything these days? Have they managed to get over the load problem? You put a caravan behind your Tesla and pull it up a hill. Will the Tesla get to the top of the hill? I mean, without the caravan, it'll get up there in insane mode in no time at all. But when it's actually got load attached to it, puts a hell of a lot more drain on the battery. A hell of a lot. So until such time that an electric car can travel a reasonable distance and can be charged in a reasonable time, and you can be guaranteed that the charger, when you turn up, hasn't been vandalized or does actually work, or the petrol station paid its power bill so that you can still do it, or that the generator is turned on out the back to power it, which I think is bloody hilarious. There's backup generators for all of those Tesla power things. Backup generators, not solar run things, bloody diesel or petrol run ones. Friggin' hilarious. At any rate, silver, worthwhile looking into. I did look into it. And did I tell you this story? I'll tell you this story quickly. I bought, because I had $80, and I thought, well, let me get into the silver market. So I bought 2 silver coins. They were about like $39 and a few cents each. And I thought, because I really wanted the whole experience, I thought, I'll go in and pick up my 2 silver coins from this, bullion place. And I thought it'd be very exciting. And it was very exciting until you walk in and realize you're only picking up 2 silver coins, and there's people there, carrying out trolleys full of this stuff. One lady, God love her, she had picked up a fair weight of silver, and had put it in a backpack and was struggling lifting it up. And she was right in front of me. And I said, would you genuinely, honestly, just said, would you like a hand taking that down to your car? You know, I said, I'm only picking up 2 coins. I've got plenty of lift capacity. And she looked at me absolutely horrified. And the bloke who was standing at my side sort of gave me a bit of a sideways glance too. So there is a certain etiquette when you go into a bullion place to pick up your 2 silver coins for, you know, just under $80. And that is, don't offer to carry anybody else's out. It's not really the done thing. So, yeah. So for newbies, there you go. You learn that. And I don't know. I think my 2 $39 something coins are still worth $39 something. Don't know that they've gone up terribly much. And I'm certainly not interested in going to sell them just yet. But yeah, let's see. I've still got to get petrol to get to Victoria yet, so I might have to sell them yet. Speaking of that, you can go to our webpage if you'd like to throw a dollar into the can to kick us down the road another half a litre. That would be fabulous. VoFHQ.com. There's a donate button there. Cherie will be happy that I've mentioned it again, and I actually looked at you while I mentioned it this time, so that's probably better. All right, folks, a little of a shorter one tonight. We've had a few long ones recently, so I did try to keep it shorter. And Darren, a great man, really looking forward to getting down to Victoria, and he's happy to help any state. You don't have to be in Victoria. If you've got questions, Darren's the man. He's the first People's Council Mayor in Australia. So the hurdles that any council is going to face, Darren will have got to them before you and is very happy to help you with them. So, yeah, maybe that's you. If you want to be a mayor, let me know. Or more to the point, let Cherie know. No point in letting me know I can't organise anything. Cherie, on the other hand, wow, bloody great. So let Cherie know. And if you want to be a mayor, then Spiros is very keen to talk to you. He'll help you set up what you need and get it all happening. But just on Spiros, I've had more people emailing me, sending me messages, and making contact generally through the website, asking for his contact details, asking him to help them with their case or their question, law question. He apologizes. He cannot give you legal advice because he's not a lawyer anymore. I'm pretty sure that's the case at any rate. He represented himself in these cases. The fact that he has a legal background is just a bonus. So he can't officially give you any kind of help or anything. And he is very involved in setting up not just these people's councils. He's also involved in a eco building project, which I've recently had some conversations with some people about something like this up here in Queensland. His projects are further south, but he's very interested in being involved in helping set up eco housing projects, particularly for disadvantaged housing, that sort of thing. So there are areas of interest for all of us here, folks. If you have an interest in maybe developing something along those lines with eco housing or maybe tiny homes, that kind of thing, then by all means, email Cherie at vofhq.com, and in the subject line, put something like eco housing or eco development, so that we can prioritize the emails correctly and get them sent in the right email. If you could do that, that will make Cherie's life a lot easier. And if Cherie's life is happy, my life is happy. Otherwise, I'm in all sorts of crap. And I don't know if you know Cherie's husband, Gary, but you don't want to get on his wrong side. He's got a bloody huge truck, run over plenty of kangaroos. He can get me too. So we'll just be careful. All right, guys. You have a great night. Gary's going to be very upset. I've told people he kills kangaroos. He only does it by accident when the stupid buggers run out. And truth be told, his truck is too high. They just go straight underneath them and they plow into the wife's car behind. That's a whole other story for Cherie to tell one night. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm humbled by the fact that you want to spend any time with me at all. I'm trying to figure out the daylight savings thing. I figured 7:30 for most people is when the show has always been on. So I'm trying to do it 6:30 Queensland time. I'm sorry for the Queensland people that throws out. But hey, you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it in replay in its finery. And, well, crap. At any rate, thanks for your help tonight. Thanks for your indulgence tonight. And please give Cherie your attention if we can answer any questions for you or help you set up. If you want the show to come to your place, we would love to come to your place. And the My Place at Your Place thing, if you've got a shed, you might have a party place ready one Saturday night. We might come to town with the odd special guest and put on a bit of a show. Let's see if we can get My Place happening at your place. That's what Darren's all about. That's what the Voice of Freedom's all about, uniting communities. So I look forward to seeing you at your place for a My Place. That sounds pretty cool. If you're going to be on the road, folks, don't be one of those dickheads out there. Too many of them. Don't be one of them.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!